Over the next 4 days, we are going to be working on an entire side of leg tattoo. There's a lot of meaning behind this one. The entire concept is based around honouring my client's dad, who sadly passed away. So this is going to make it the biggest memorial tattoo that I have ever done. Not only have we got the pressure of such a large tattoo, but also all of the emotion and the story behind this one. It's just going to make this entire project so much more rewarding as we chip away at it. We have all 4 days booked in, so I'm really excited to get my teeth stuck into this one. A little bit. So let me just run you down on how we both arrived at this concept for the tattoo. So when my client reached out, he said that he wanted to find a way that he could honour his dad in a full side of leg tattoo. His dad's favourite flowers were yellow roses, and also he wanted the main theme to be honouring his father's career as a farrier and a jockey. That's why we included this symbol, which was his father's logo for his farrier business. But other than that, I could tell at our consultation my client was completely open to my interpretation with how I could piece this all together. And I think we've got the perfect balance of saying everything that we need to say to make this a memorial piece, whilst also it looking like an amazing one-off tattoo design, which doesn't necessarily feel like you'd need to know the person in order to really appreciate this as a tattoo. I think it's worth mentioning that when it comes to memorial tattoos, you can either take this symbolic approach that we're doing today, or a more specific approach where you literally just do a portrait of that family member. I'm just grateful to all of my clients who trust me to work on such meaningful tattoo projects. It's all a good size, but I need the horse to sit higher, and then I need the rose to actually come lower. I'm gonna have to make an adjustment to separate them a bit further. Yeah, all right, let me do that. The hardest thing about working on any big tattoo project is always that first session, making sure that every element of the design fits perfectly to my client's body. Always takes a little bit of time on day one. So even though my plan is to start with a piece of this, I'm not going to be getting it all done today. I need to make sure that the whole thing is going to fit. So there's quite a bit of repetition, making sure that the sizes that I'm printing are going to fit perfectly. Any adjustments that I need to do back in the design and then re-stencil, I'll make sure to do that now. That way, on the second, third, fourth, however many sessions that we've got booked in, we can just pick up right where we left off. Let's check this one, mate. All right. Yeah. That's better. Yeah, that's really cool. These two are just a bit too close together. So now the rose sits on the widest bit. Yeah, wicked. All right. Fortunately, after that design adjustment, I managed to get the size of the stencil perfect to his leg first try. So there wasn't too much back and forth with the printer. I'm now just hoping that I can get the stencil stuck down first try as well, so I don't have to go printing it off again. I'm feeling really ambitious today, and I think I'm going to try and stick it all on in one go. It's a bold move, I must admit. Normally for this type of project, I would separate the leg into the upper and lower halves, but in the least weird way that I could say this, my client's leg is giving me good vibes. All right, come on, first try. I might need your help a little bit. Yeah, don't worry, I've got it. good. See what you think?
Yeah.
It's a big one.
If you're happy.
Yeah, cool. And that is definitely going to be a statement tattoo. As we progress from each stage, the design process to now the stencil, we haven't even started, but I'm just getting so excited for this project. All that's left for me to do now is pour out my inks, get my needles ready, consume copious amounts of caffeine, and get in the zone. Showtime. The plan is start with the rose, do as much as we can today, work our way up, hopefully have all of this done, and then he's back for another double day, and we'll see if we can get all of this done in the 2 days. It's a lot of work. Here's my colours. Look at them. Look at those yellows. Rightio. Even though it can feel a little daunting seeing how much work we've got to do in these 4 days, I'm actually feeling really calm starting this project off today. I've only really got one main thing to think about. It's getting the rose done and making sure that looks as good as I can possibly make it. I know I've still got the symbol that I want to achieve by the end of tomorrow, but the bulk of these next 2 days is going to be the lower leg getting this rose done. So rather than watching the clock, my main focus is ensuring that I'm mixing my color palette as accurately as possible to give that realistic look. Good morning. Good job, buddy. Oh, I messed mine up. Alan Watts famously said, "Instant coffee is the punishment to racing to the future." And I believe that with my entire being. Starting on day 2 should be a lot smoother than our start yesterday. We had all of the stencil and all of the sizing to figure out, but today we're literally just picking up where we left off. I also chose to do all of the outline in the rose as well, so there's nothing that I need to stencil to get the day started. Now of course I will be needing to re-stick the symbol once we finish the rose, but for now, to start the day, I'm going to get the rest of the flower finished. So I'm going to take advantage of the time now while my client's not here. I'm going to pour out and mix up all of the same colors that I used for yesterday's palette. That way I can pick up right where we left off today. Now my client has arrived, I'm just going to take off the overnight pad, let it breathe for a minute, let my client sit and have a cup of coffee whilst the tattoo gets some air on it, and then we're going to get this rose finished. And hopefully it shouldn't take too long. The second day when getting tattooed can often feel like quite a daunting experience. So we both agreed that let's get the headphones on and both get in our own little zones to get through this as smoothly as we can. That worked perfectly for me anyway, because as we're getting closer to the center of the rose, it's getting a lot more technical and I'm really having to focus on my technique here. Which feels like a good time to mention, if there are any tattooists that are watching me and they're interested in learning how I approach color realism when it comes to tattooing flowers, not just the full process from start to finish of the actual tattooing, but also all of the many hours of preparation that goes into making the design, searching for references, and all of the things that I'm thinking about in order to achieve this standard of color realism for flowers. If that sounds like something you're interested in, the link to the course will be found in the description. I think having yellow as the main theme for this colour palette is possibly one of the most challenging when it comes to doing flowers for me personally, because the thing is you can't rely entirely on yellow. There's so many other colours we've got to put in there to get that 3D effect, but I'm super happy with how this has turned out. The day's not finished yet. We've still got to get that symbol done on the side of the knee above the rose to take us to the halfway mark for this project. Now, I didn't film the tattoo process for this. After I printed off the stencil and realigned it next to the rose, I just felt that it was too awkward of an area for me to be able to get as close as possible to work on all the small details whilst having the camera in the way. For the sake of my client's comfort, I felt it was just best to leave the camera to one side for this afternoon and get through this as efficiently as possible. But here's how it's turned out. We're halfway through in terms of time, but we've definitely got the bigger half to do over these next 2 days. Normally getting an entire thigh piece done in 2 days is very, very ambitious. However, now that I've had a couple days working on my client's skin and I get a feel for how well he sits and takes the ink, I feel pretty confident going into these next 2 days getting the horse and the jockey done, mainly because it's just one big thing to think about, getting the horse done, and the jockey is just part of the design. If this was a bit more complex with some other elements going on and possibly just a main thigh piece on its own, then I would probably need some more time to get this finished. It's 4 weeks later and the rose tattoo is healed. After a quick shave and a freshen up with some Butterluck's natural balm, it looks brand new, if I do say so myself, which is a good tactic for you guys who have got tattoos that are a few years old now. If you want them to look fresh and keep the colors popping, the best thing that you can do is just keep it simple. You don't have to buy anything crazy, all of these gimmicks of like make your tattoos pop, creams and stuff like that. It's a load of rubbish. Take it from me as a tattoo artist. Just shave the area so there's no body hair, because when you have hair that's hiding the ink, it can look a little bit fuzzy. And then just get an all natural moisturizer to keep your skin hydrated and looking glossy. Yeah, that's it. Go check it out in the mirror. Yeah, that's cool. Just need to line this back section up. I could do that. Stay there one sec. Yeah, that'll do. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just to frame it. That's gonna be awesome. Sweet. Let's leave that to dry for a little bit. All that's left for me to do now whilst I wait for that to dry is prepare my tattoo machines so I can get started. Can't help but think about just how much we've got left to do. I know we're at the halfway point in terms of the number of sessions, but like I said before, getting the full thigh done in 2 days is absolutely crazy. This might call for another day of wearing headphones. I think we just need to take full advantage of the prompt start and get into this as quick as possible. My plan is to get the whole thing marked out and start color packing as much as we can, so tomorrow I hope we can get this finished. If you've been following the channel for a while, you would know that typically what I would do is work in sections, and then the following day, whenever I'm working on consecutive days like I am now, I would just realign the stencil and pick up where we left off. However, more recently I've been experimenting with just doing the whole outline first, and that way I don't have to realign the stencil on day 2. And I've actually been quite enjoying it, and I think it's something that I'm going to continue doing for a lot of my big tattoo projects. The thing is with relying on realigning the stencil on day 2 is you're kind of at the mercy of the swelling, and if for whatever reason my client swells up a lot, which sometimes can happen, everybody's body is different and some people just swell up more than others. It's nothing that you can really prepare for, you just don't know, especially if a client doesn't have tattoos before. They can't really judge from their own experience. What can happen in a scenario like that, and it's only ever happened very rarely, is the swelling is so much that it's not even possible to realign the stencil, and then you're kind of in a really difficult situation. So choosing to work on the whole outline before beginning the color packing, it just takes that whole pressure away. And I'm finding myself being a lot more relaxed as well, because then I can just start coloring in as much as I can for the day, and I don't have to worry about what's a good place to stop so I can realign the stencil, etc. And then literally the next day we can start straight away. We're getting there, mate. Just one more day to go. My client has been sitting so well over these last 3 days, and I think that is one of the biggest reasons why we've been able to get so much work done. I am really confident we're going to get this finished tomorrow. Now that I have everything marked out, especially by the end of the day, this whole side of leg is going to be transformed into a finished work of art. I'm going to wrap it up again and then just leave it on like you did last time. Yep. Good. Preparing myself for day 4, I'm just reflecting on how far we've come from day 1 until now, and I'm just so excited to finally get this project finished. Also, I keep saying we, and I really do mean that. Even though I'm the one that's doing the tattoo, my client is definitely having to put the work in as well, and sitting still for so long is not easy. So when I find myself with a client like I have today, who just puts up with it, doesn't fidget, doesn't twitch, honestly, I just have to publicly say my gratitude, because that is half the battle when it comes to finishing such a big project. It is a team effort. And not only is it my client's ability to sit still that makes tattooing so enjoyable in moments like these, but it's also these types of projects and the collaboration that I've had with my client from the very beginning all the way at our consultation that reminds me of why I love doing what I do. We were in perfect harmony right from the beginning. He had the loose ideas, the things that he knew he wanted, like the yellow rose and what he wanted it to represent, and he said to me, look, this is the location on my leg, I don't really care how big it is, I'm more than happy to take up the whole side of the leg if you want, the rest is up to you. And for me, that is the best way to make a design. You just tell me the limits, what I can and can't do, and I can just go from there and make a tattoo for you which you probably never would have imagined. All that being said, I would absolutely love to take on so many more projects like this. If anyone watching is interested in booking a tattoo with me, if you've got any ideas that you'd like to talk through, or maybe you don't have any ideas in particular but you know you would just like to get a piece, then please reach out. The link is in the description to my website and you can fill out the contact form and get in touch. If you're watching on TV, scan the QR code and then let's schedule our consultation, and hopefully I can do an awesome tattoo just like this one for you. It's been really awesome as well to meet some of my subscribers. A lot of my recent consultations and projects that I've been booking in are with you guys that are finding me on YouTube, so that is so cool. Thanks again for being subscribed, and if you're not already, make sure you do, because we've got so many more awesome subscriber tattoos that are coming up. In case the haters say that this is fake, look, just iPhone, Bosch, real tats, bro, and healed.